Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of the NFL Betting Card Live. And it is the Week 18 edition. I can't believe that. It makes me sad, but that's okay. We keep doing this all the way through the playoffs and Super Bowl. And I'm, of course, joined by Spread and Astaire and Tyler Hicks every Tuesday for NBA, Thursday for NFL. Tyler will be here shortly. So I'm, of course, going to start and say hello to my good friend Spread. He's fighting off a cold, but he's here for you guys. He's here to get the winners for Week 18. So Spread, I know you're fighting off a cold, but other than that, how are you doing?
Yeah, and maybe it's good, Meg, because people are going to get annoyed with the content I put out the last 2 weeks. But I spent all last week preaching discretion.
Yeah.
And the National Basketball Association, the week between Christmas and New Year's is real tricky.
Yeah.
And now we turn around, and I would say this is one of the trickiest weeks to handicap in the NFL. I think discretion is fine, and I think our playoff angles are going to be stronger. So I want to go over a couple things here that I believe when we're going into the NFL. Don't overrate these motivational factors. These guys are all professionals. To make it to the professional level, and this isn't the NBA, these guys need to put good film even during practice. They're being evaluated on their Wednesdays and their Thursdays more than any other sport. So the idea that they're going to go lay down because they've been eliminated from the playoffs when they still have contracts coming up, they still have pride. They don't want to be on Sports Center getting burned, getting pancaked, right? So don't buy. Be aware of these narratives, but don't buy too much into it. And finally, this isn't mine. You've heard it a million times before. If a team is in a must-win situation, they must not be that good, because the best teams, right?
Yeah,
the Baltimore Ravens, do they need to win this week? No.
Yeah.
Did San Francisco 49ers need to win this week?
Nope, wrapped up. Yeah.
So these must-win teams that you think have all this motivation have plenty of flaws to put them in this situation. So
that's a great point.
Yeah, those are just some basic things that I look into here. We get some great matchups as well where both teams need to win.
Right.
We can focus on those. And surprisingly, Meg, two of my favorite plays this week, and I haven't got down on them yet, but two of the ones that I really circled involve four teams that are already eliminated. So I don't necessarily cross those off as well. We're going to dive right in. I've gone over most of the scenarios. You can correct me if I'm wrong on some of them. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what you think about some of these games.
Yeah, I'm excited to go game by game, kind of break it down with you to kind of make decisions. And I understand about discretion. Before we go, really dive into it, I had a couple historical questions for you for Week 18. So it sounds like historically Week 18, you do kind of use a lot more discretion and kind of don't go heavy in Week 18, kind of save that bankroll for the playoffs and Super Bowl. Am I hearing you right there that generally speaking, you are lighter on Week 18?
Right. How many of these games involve players that my numbers aren't going to capture at all? Let's look at the Cleveland Browns, right?
Yeah.
They're starting Jeff Driscoll.
Right.
You probably know what better than I, but I don't think he's played a snap this year. Maybe he did some relief.
Yeah,
My point is there's not much data here. I'm not sure who they're playing on the defensive end. I know they don't need to win, right? So, this could be a tough game to handicap. It feels like, unless you're really sharp on college football and you're aware of a lot of these second stringers and who's going to be the huge downgrades and who's not, I don't want to guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty sure of what teams we're betting on starting next weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't need to really roll the dice here. And Meg, you know what, Tyler and I, we're not really good at self-promotion. Tyler, I was cleaning up the sheet today. We barely mentioned we're up 8.5 units on the
you got to mention that. Exactly. Right? Yeah.
And we don't do 10-unit bangers, right? I mean, if we bet 10 units per play like some of these guys, we can say, hey, we're up 85 units.
Right.
So we could be up 850 if that's the case.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say you can find all that on their NFL treasure map on fanspeak.com. Go to the sports betting tab. You can find their NBA treasure map, which they track their units. You can find the NFL treasure map, and up 8.5 units, and I think only going to get better through the playoffs. So you got to tout that. You guys we always tout the really exciting like sweep weeks and that kind of stuff, but you got to tout, it's a grind all season. And so, yeah, up 8.5 units. Check that out on fanspeak.com. Full treasure map is up. And then, of course, the NFL betting card will be updated on the homepage and sports betting page for every slate for Saturday, and in this case for Saturday and Sunday. But as the playoffs roll, it'll be updated for every game slate that we have. So yeah, absolutely. Victory lap that and keep rolling. I like that spread. Let's say hi to Tyler, then talk a little more week 18, and then we can go dive into this. Tyler, how are you doing? And how do you typically handle this wild week 18?
Yeah, I normally first thing I do when I come into this week, Meg, all the games that have nothing really going for them, kind of cross them off. And then I'll go back through those games that are meaningless that I crossed off and see if maybe there's a little couple reasons why we should bet these games. I think there's 2 meaningless games that we should get involved in. The rest of the games should be thrown out unless they have playoff implications. And other than that, it's incentive week, so look for the incentives to bet the player props.
Yeah, and the props, look at that. And unfortunately, obviously the books know what we know. So some stuff's baked in, but then there's some things, for a reception line that's obviously very much baked in. But, if a guy, you might be able to take a guy that's got a incentive and use that to bet an alt prop or something like that. Or there are some that, the touchdowns are there. So yeah, I mean, the books know, but you can still try to find your edges with that. I mean, I'm just, whatever people talk about, and I will say Establish the Run does an excellent job. I have them pulled up. They do an excellent job. They have a free contract incentive article and statistical milestone article. So check that out on Establish the Run. It's totally free. And it breaks down all the contract incentives, all the statistical milestone incentives. So yeah, I mean, again, books know too, but I still think you can use it to try to, work whatever edges, and certainly in daily fantasy too. So spread, do you kind of agree with Tyler that generally, you said you might get involved too with a game that is kind of meaningless, but generally do you kind of cross those off first, focus on the games that do have meaning, and then go back to the games that may be meaningless just to make sure you didn't miss anything? Is that how you handle week 18 too, spread, before we, dive in?
Yeah. I'm not as afraid of jumping in these meaningless games if I feel like I'd have an edge. I just think a lot of times it's hard to find an edge.
Right. It's like you said, you just have to be careful because you don't have Jeff Driscoll built in your models and stuff like that. So yeah.
I think my favorite thing is really to fade the must-win teams. Not blindly, but those are the spots I'm looking for. Especially ATS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just because Pittsburgh needs to win against Baltimore, does that mean they're going to win by 4?
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great point. And yeah, I didn't even think about that. The ATS side. Yeah, they need to win, but they don't need to win by 4 to make.
Because people are going to keep putting money on. So that's the other thing. Let's say I do like Baltimore here. I'm going to wait until Saturday afternoon, and I'm going to see how far this line goes. I don't think people are going to be rushing to bet the team that they all know is going to be laid off. And the thing is, if the number goes against me, then I don't have to bet it either.
Right. So. Right. Okay. Well, then with that said, that's kind of like the week 18 disclaimers. It is just a news and information week. Certainly from daily fantasy, you can have an edge just staying on top of information. And to Tyler's point, sports betting too, while the books knows, just pay attention to all this, stats, milestones, contract, playoff implications, pay attention to all of it, find any little edges you can. We will have a short slate show later today. We will have a short slate article for Saturday and for Sunday. So be sure to check that out, free on fanspeak.com. With that, spread, do you want to kind of go through some of the games before we get into like your favorite spreads? You want to talk through some first?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty to talk through. What are you thinking, Tyler? We haven't made any official plays yet. You want to talk through some of these games?
Oh, you're muted.
I think we should talk about one that happens on Saturday. I think that's one of the more important games.
The Houston Indy.
I want to talk about both of them, Tyler. Let's go in order.
Well, we know you want to talk about the other one, but
okay. Well, you kind of just alluded to it, spread. Like Steelers just have to win. They don't have to win by 4. So are you leaning towards waiting and seeing if it gets bet up And then you have some interest in the Ravens?
Yeah, to me, this game is Ravens or pass. I know that everyone, the Steelers have to win. The Ravens aren't going to care. Well, the Ravens try and win preseason games, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a team, right, that's just known for doing this. Tyler Huntley, of course, wants to put forth a good performance. And obviously, he's a big drop off from Lamar. I mean, Lamar's been playing so well this year. But I don't think it's just automatic that they're going to lose the game. And I also don't necessarily know if I believe in this Mason Rudolph resurgence that we've seen. Has this been the product of some nice matchups for him? Or is he really improved just sitting on the bench and watching the brilliance of Kenny Pickett? So to me, it's Ravens or pass, but I'm fine staying away. I could also, if like Tyler liked the Ravens, I could hit submit right now. What do you think about this one, Tyler?
I'd rather just stay away from this game. I understand the Ravens side, but at the same time, you can make the argument for the Steelers. I also have this lingering thought in my head that the winning season's locked up. They were able to win a couple games to end the year. This is probably the last spot where they're going to try. Mason Rudolph has the locker room on his side. I'd probably just stay away from this one in the end.
I just don't like Tomlin as a favorite. And it just, if we just take out all the other stuff and we just this is a division game and we're catching 4. Those are the spots
I agree.
we like to look at.
It'd be Ravens or pass, but I think I'd just rather pass.
Yeah. And let's see how far this line creeps.
Also, question for you. What's the big differences between Mason Rudolph and your boy Jake Browning? Because I think they're pretty much the same guys. You were high on Jake Browning. You thought he was legit. Mason Rudolph got 2 weeks, and now you're throwing him to the curb.
The difference to me is that Jake Browning has the physical tools to be an elite quarterback, and I don't think that Mason Rudolph does.
I mean, I think they're kind of
the same. Yeah, you don't think Mason Rudolph has the physical tools? He's got a big arm.
Yeah, I think he's bigger and he's got a stronger arm than Jake Browning.
Does it? I don't think he has a stronger arm. He is bigger. I think Browning's shown the ability to read and process information better than Rudolph, and also has had way less opportunities to really prove himself. But at the end of the day, the point's taken, and maybe I shouldn't be so quick to what did they do to Rudolph there in the old Christmas tune? They dismissed him, right? Maybe I'm just one of those reindeers, and I just don't want to believe in Rudolph.
I get it, Fred. He was hitting the head with a helmet. He's a little different. You don't want him, but it's Rudolph. He'll be all right.
I mean, you can't deny that the last 2 weeks he's looked good. I mean,
what do you think they do? What do you think they do next year?
I think it depends what happens this week. And if they were to make the playoffs, with them. But I mean, I still think they've got to.
I think they start Kenny Pickett next year with a very short leash. And if he starts the year bad, they go right back to Rudolph.
They go very.
They might draft a quarterback, just not in the first round as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a later guy, like a Spencer Rattler or somebody. Just somebody we don't need.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes those late ones. I know it didn't work out for me. The full sample of Hal didn't pan out for me as I hoped. But you never know. You never know. Dak Prescott was fourth round. There are the diamonds in the roughs now and then that then emerge. But anyways, I think if he does well, it depends how well he does this game and if they were to make the playoffs. But yeah, I think I could see exactly what you're saying. They roll with Pickett next year, and then but incredibly short leash. Because I assume they have Rudolph under contract for next year. Tyler,
I actually know he's a free agent.
Oh, okay.
So he has to be re-signed.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. All right, next game that you guys both love. Let's talk about that. That's a biggie. Both teams playing for essentially don't know if they're playing for the AFC South or a wild card. Win, you're in. Lose, you're out for the Texans, Colts. And if the Jaguars were to lose on Sunday, that win becomes the AFC South championship. So let me hear where you guys stand on this one. We've got Texans are favored by 1.5. I'm on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. Totals 47.5. It is in Indy. So I'll go to you first, Spread. Where are you on this one?
I think everyone's going to default to the Texans right off the bat because their quarterback is so much better.
Right.
Gardner Minshew's shown that he can be, I don't know, like his ceiling is an average quarterback, but he probably comes in about 20, 21. The good thing for him is the difference between 21 and 32 is huge. So he's serviceable.
Right.
Where CJ Stroud has all the makings of a future star. Although when I ran my numbers today, Meg, I came out with an edge to the Colts, and I started thinking, okay, why am I getting this? Because I thought, and I think Tyler's going to like the Texans. And I came down to CJ Stroud's road performances. A lot of this Rookie of the Year campaign has been built off these huge statistical performances at home. Okay. And on the road, he's shown some of those rookie blues. At the same time, I've mentally undervalued the Colts all season for the reason, right, that they only have a serviceable quarterback. Their playoff ceiling isn't very high. Most likely, both these teams I'd say the Texans have a better playoff chance, but if they're going to be on the road, I think both these teams are just vying for the opportunity to have a first-round exit. We don't see a lot of championship potential here. Also, the Texans missing Tank Dell could be huge. Stroud had such a nice chemistry with him, and I feel that it kept defenses off balance, where now the target of the defense in Nico Collins is so much easier for coordinators to prepare for. Texans Damian Pierce destroyed me in best ball, destroyed me in managed leagues,
absolutely destroyed me. Absolutely.
And Singletary's been all right. But they're lacking that real rushing attack that we were hoping they were going to have. Well, the Colts, quietly, I know that they haven't been good statistically, but you watch the games and they have been able to run the ball when it matters here. So at the beginning of the week, I like the Texans. Now I'm leaning towards Indy, but I'm not necessarily in love with getting involved here. Tyler, what do you think?
I think we got to take Houston. I get the whole, it's Indy, you gave the nice breakdown about them, but in the end, this game's going to come down to two guys, CJ Stroud and Gardner Minshew. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm taking Stroud 10 times out of 10 because he's the much better player. Minshew, he plays all right, but we got to remember this is a backup that takes chances, who's played a couple weeks where he hasn't had any turnovers. He's played not very smart with the ball. He's gotten very lucky with the ball. PFF does their luck rankings. Guess who ranks 1 in luck? The Colts. Guess how often that comes back to bite a team, where all of a sudden they start turning the ball over at ridiculous rates. The other team gets free points. I think they have the coaching advantage with D'Amico Ryans. I think their defense has the advantage here. Even with both sides banged up, I think Houston's more equipped to slow down the Colts. Singletary's been very, very good the last couple weeks. I mean, just looking at some of his recent games, he had 16 for 80 last week. The game before that, they played Cleveland. That was with Stroud still out. 9 attempts for 44 yards. Then he had 26 attempts for 121 yards. And that was against Tennessee. He's played the ball well. He's touched the ball a ton. They'll be able to run against this Colts defense. Stroud will be able to throw the ball to anyone that's running routes. He had Jordan Akins involved in the game last week, and he scored a touchdown. He'll use Nico Collins. He'll use Noah Brown. He'll use Dalton Schultz.
I was going to say Noah Brown might be out. He was sat out practice yesterday. He's
Robert Woods and John Mechie step up, man. It's just it's a carousel behind. Yeah, next man up. Stroud will find him. Dalton Schultz is the guy, though. They can't cover tight ends. He has a big game. He also has incentives in this game. It's like 4 catches, $200K. 6 catches is $500,000. So look for his props. I think the Texans win this game easily. I got on them earlier in the week when they were plus 1.5, teased them up to 7.5.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm on the money line too. I think they win this game. I think this is their statement spot. Stroud got last week back to get some rust off. I think he performs well here. I mean, no weather elements either. They're inside a dome.
Do you worry about what Spread said about Stroud on the road, or just the fact that it's a home game for the Colts? Do you like bake that in much at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I've been going back and forth. That's why I'm asking.
If it was on the road and we had some elements to deal with here too, to where, okay, the home team's used to playing in the snow, he's not. But we're going from a warm weather closed stadium team and putting them in a closed stadium up north. Yeah, it's going to be colder outside the stadium, but it's going to be heated in there. There's no weather in there. He's going to be fine. Like, yeah, the fans are on the other side, but it's nothing he's never dealt with before.
Right. I've been going back.
It just puts you at a disadvantage, though. That is a loud stadium. It's going to make it harder to audible, harder to get into signals. And I would say that you need to preface this with let's just use his road stats, and you use Minshew's home stats. Now these quarterbacks are a lot closer than if we use their overall stats this season. Finally, my last little bone to pick with your breakdown. I don't know if the Texans have the coaching edge.
I was just going to say that. That's the one thing I'm struggling. I am so impressed with Steichen.
I'm impressed too, but I think D'Amico Ryans is better.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with D'Amico Ryans, but oh my God.
Right. And at the same right, I'm not saying either. I'm just saying I think it's closer to equal. I don't think I give an edge to either side.
Right. That's where I stand is as far as the coaching, it feels pretty equal to me. As far as the quarterbacks, I totally get what you're saying on Stroud. As far as the home field advantage, I think that is a kind of intangible that could go really help the Colts. I mean, I do know the Colts have a really bad run defense. Tight ends can tear them up. So there certainly is a path for like Schultz and Singletary and that kind of stuff. Being without Noah Brown could hurt. We won't know about that. We don't know about that yet. That's why I've been kind of going back and forth. So I ultimately would probably just stay away from this one, even though this is one to target with both sides. You know, again, they're both playing for the AFC South or the wild card.
I mean, the Colts have caught in such an easy end of the year too. Like this is just dating back to their London game where they beat the Patriots 10-6.
Yeah.
Then they came home to play the Buccaneers in their home stadium. They beat them 27-20. Then they went to Tennessee, lost that game by 3. Played in Cincinnati, lost that game by 20. Came home, played the Steelers, won that game by 17. Went to Atlanta, lost by 19. Came home, played the Raiders, won by 3. I
mean, some of their losses are
bad.
Good.
Yeah.
They're ones they shouldn't have lost, obviously. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying too.
And I know we talked about CJ's road splits, and yeah, Gardner plays better at home, but the pressure is not just on CJ Stroud and the Texans here. Pressure's on that backup Gardner Minshew and the Colts also. I think he would be more likely to crumble in this spot and start to panic before CJ Stroud would, after what I've seen this year.
Yeah. I think his weapons are better too. I mean, just having JT and Pittman at full strength now. But again, you know, everything you say about Stroud and all the points you make about like the matchups for Singletary and Schultz and everything. Yeah, that's why I'm just struggling. So I'm not going to help either of you. It sounds like, well, so
if Stroud doesn't miss 3 weeks with a concussion, are we even here? Or is this spot locked up? Because I think it's locked up.
I think it's locked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we're here without that. So that's a good point too. So has he swayed you, Spread, or is it just a stay away for you?
Stay away.
Okay. Well,
he's kept me off the Colts, however.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Same. So sometimes that's a win. Okay. Spread, hit the other ones that you were really thinking through here.
All right. Cowboys Commanders, I don't want to bet. I just want to point out that Cowboys technically need to win this.
Oh, they have to win. They have to win to win the NFC East. Yeah.
Right. And so that might affect the Philadelphia game if they jump out to a huge lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Philadelphia might just pull everyone.
Yeah. So that's why I like the Cowboys side in DFS.
But did you want to bet either of those games, Tyler? Did you want to get involved in either of them?
No.
The argument could be made that if the Cowboys pull everyone, Giants +5 is worth the look.
I was going to say that'd be my only play would be the Giants plus.
But I don't want to get there.
Yeah.
Right, because then you're relying on the scenario that the scoreboard watching is.
And even then, who's to say that the Eagles backups can't beat the Giants by 5?
Right now, the Eagles are reeling.
I know the Eagles are playing poorly,
let me enjoy it. Let me enjoy it.
But these Giants are bad.
If Tyrod played that whole game like 2 weeks ago against the Eagles might not have a win in their last 5 weeks.
I know. I was gonna say that Christmas Day game was closer than people thought.
This team's dead.
Yeah. Well, if you want Giants, you can talk me into it. I'm not laying 5 with
that would be the only way I would go in this game. I'm not ready. I said that would be the only way I would go in this game. Not ready to pull the trigger yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
See, I think this number is baked into the narrative. Where did I have this game projected at? I think they moved the line down a little bit with the idea that Philadelphia might pull people.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to scroll down on the treasure map right now. Where did I have this game at?
I had it up a minute.
We had an Eagles 25, Giants 18.
Right, and that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking this should be 7.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. We'll stay away from that one. Rams 49ers, did you want to get involved?
No.
It's backups versus backups. Yeah.
I'm going to go through the games I don't think we're going to get involved in, and then we can continue debating.
Okay.
Browns Bengals, I don't want to play that game. Do you?
No.
Okay. No. Seahawks Cardinals.
I mean, that's got meaning for the Seahawks, and Cardinals are playing strong, but
I'd probably end up staying away. I think the Cardinals just played their Super Bowl. He wanted to beat his former team. He did. He can care less about this game.
I mean, really,
I think you're going to get a motivated Cardinals team. They're pretty much locked into that spot. They don't need a quarterback. They've committed to Kyler. I think he wants to put a nice performance forward. Even though the Seahawks technically need to win to make the playoffs, I'd say the motivation's equal there. So,
and is that game? I assume that game's at the same time as it has to be as the Packers game, right? Yeah, because if Packers win, Seattle's out. So that could be another issue of, while I kind of did initially like the Seahawks, that could be another issue and I know you guys like the Bears, but I'd like the Packers in this one, but that's neither here nor there. If the Packers were up by, I don't know, a decent margin, I don't know. I mean, that one's
a little different. I think it's pretty plausible to assume that the Cowboys could blow out the Commanders. Sorry, Meg.
No,
but just defensively, I just don't see them being able to get the stops necessary. Even if you guys have a good game on offense, I think it'll be a shootout. So that's why, I don't really see a point where the Seahawks look up and the Packers plus the Eagles have something to rest for. Even if the Seahawks look up and the Packers are ahead by 21.
Yeah.
What do they need to rest for? I'm still thinking they're gonna try hard. I would say
they have to. Yeah, it's either they're both fighting for that last wild card spot. So,
all right, my 2 other cross-offs, Tyler, were actually I have 3 more. Jags Titans.
Titans are pass for me.
I kind of like Titans or pass. Yeah, Titans or pass.
You like Titans?
I just feel like the Jags are maybe because I don't want to see the Jaguars in the playoffs.
They're so beat up, and this is your spot where you're
so beat up.
Where your other man crush Vrabel steps up.
I was gonna say,
spoiler.
I saw the quote of Vrabel kind of snapping on the reporter about, just going off about how bad it just sucks to lose, and I could just see him playing spoiler. But who is the core? I don't know if it's Levis. I think I heard a podcast that it might be Malik Willis, in which case that doesn't make.
I want nothing to do with that game.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to cross off Bucks Panthers. Bucks are favored by 4.5. That's another one. I could see them winning because they need to win and not covering.
I think they're way better than 4.5 points than the Panthers.
I don't hate their money line.
Are they? No.
As long as
I know the Panthers are the worst team in the league, but historically they're not as bad as the other worst teams in the league that we've seen.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I kind of like the Bucks spread on that one, but coming off a loss where they should have wrapped it up last week and just hammering it home before going into the playoffs. But that's me. I do like the Bucks on that side.
Okay.
How about you, Tyler? You said you just would take a money line parlay or something.
I don't hate as their spreads come down. I don't hate it. I used them in a teaser earlier in the week when they were at 6 with the Texans.
Yeah.
So getting them at 4, I mean, I think they win this game pretty easily.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, maybe we'll revisit that one then. Chiefs Chargers was another one I wanted to cross off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not betting that one.
Chiefs don't need anything for that, right? I mean, it's just
they already said they're shitting
backups.
everyone.
Yeah, sitting everyone.
They're 3. Who's the Chiefs backup quarterback?
Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, wasn't he a Missouri legend?
Yeah, I think he's a Missouri guy. Yeah.
Big 12 guys never turn out. All right, let's go to the games that I do have interest in. We'll do Sunday Night Football last.
Okay. Of course, yeah.
Let's talk about the Bears and the Packers. To me, I haven't placed a bet yet, but if I'm getting involved here, I want to take Chicago. I think this is a great spot for them to play spoiler. I'm getting the better defense, which means a lot to me, and I'm catching 3 points in a division game. I was tempted to take Chicago, Tyler. Is there any reason that I should be scared of Dude Love and the rest of the Green Bay Packers?
I mean, they've looked good over the last couple of weeks. They found something in that offense. He's throwing to anyone and everyone. So that's my only worry. But the Chicago pass defenses look good. Sweat's been a hell of a pass rusher since getting him from Washington. Their offense has put it together. They have nothing to play for outside of playing spoiler for Green Bay, Fields audition for the team next year, and the fans to cheer him one more time and let the owners and the GM know that they want him. So I think it's Bears or pass.
I was gonna say I think that narrative is really interesting about the motivation of the team wanting maybe to keep Fields, the fans wanting to keep Fields, him wanting to put on a show. Like that whole side is very interesting to me, but still Packers at home win and they're in. I've been impressed. Love has just been an absolute roller coaster this year, but lately he has, really shown the growth that he can be the guy. And he is, literally some weeks like last week playing with nobody. I mean, who was that guy? Bo Melton was getting catches.
My only worry about last week is I don't want to overreact to it much because the Vikings were starting a deli worker at quarterback for the first half, and he wasn't going to play another snap in the NFL after that.
Yeah.
If they were a big market team, that would have got so shredded.
Oh my
God. If a Dallas or a New York did that.
Oh, the Jaron Hall call. Yeah.
That was
I felt so bad for that kid. They showed his whole family coming before the game, and I'm like, oh God, this is just brutal to watch. Yeah.
They put him in a bad situation too.
I don't understand
why they went away from Dobbs. Sometimes I believe there's a little bit too much of impatience in today's.
Yeah. Agreed. Agree. I don't think I think at that point they shouldn't have gone away from Mullins at that point. Like they should, at least he gets the ball to Jefferson and Addison. But
right. Here's a game that I love. The Patriots have won 15 in a row against the Jets. They're laying 2. It's potentially Belichick's last game, and they always beat the Jets. Why would I not take the Patriots here?
That is interesting. That's an interesting, not this game means literally nothing narrative and historical data.
What do you think, Tyler? Can we jump in on the Pats?
You think he just screws their draft pick up?
I was going to say, they have the number 2-3 pick right now. If they'll.
Doesn't matter. I'll pull up Tankathon right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, if both Patriots and Washington lose, and I don't think this is going to happen. I like the Saints, but if Saints win, Washington holds the number 2 spot because the whole strength of schedule thing. I watched Steve Kornacki breakdown, which was hilarious. If Falcons win, then Patriots would jump to number 2, being if both Patriots and Washington lose. So if both teams lose and Falcons pulled out a win, Patriots get the number 2 draft pick. I mean, but as we saw last year, Bears had a chance for the number 1 pick and, just whatever. Coaches don't care. They're going to go out and try to win the game.
The Texans, you mean? Yeah. But
Texans. Sorry, Texans. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that had the built-in. that Texans game had the built-in. They told the coach he was fired before the game. They said, "Hey, this is your last game."
Yeah, and he said, "Screw
And
you
the
guys."
coach turned around and said, "Well, yeah." He stood there and looked around and said, "Well, I'm not going to be here for first draft pick anyway, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go win."
yeah,
Couldn't Belichick potentially be in that position? We don't know.
yeah. We don't know
But
what's going on behind the scenes.
Like, do we think? Excuse me. Do we think he does that?
I mean, he has a 2-decade
I mean, how
relationship
far-
with Robert Kraft. I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't know. I don't. Who knows? But I mean, if it's bad behind the scenes, then yeah. But if it's,
I don't
know.
think it moves them back like terribly far. I think the farthest they would fall back, they'd go from like 3 to 6. It'd get behind the Giants.
hmm.
I think it's as far as
I mean,
they can
that's
drop.
kind of a big deal to fall out of the top
not
5.
really. You're out of Drake May either way.
I think they're
Not necessarily.
James
That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily if the Falcons were to win. I don't think the Falcons are going to win, and we can look at that spread too. But like that's another. Not necessarily. If the Falcons win, they'd get number 2. If they lost,
Who would?
Patriots.
Ahead of Washington?
Yeah, if Washington Patriots both lose and Falcons win, Patriots get the number 2. We get 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's why, because for Washington fans, all these Washington Beast reporters keep being like, cheer for the Saints this weekend, cheer for the Saints this weekend, that crap.
Well, I still like the Patriots. I don't think they're gonna. I just can't see it. Maybe.
Yeah, I can't see Belichick tanking. Or
I got a much better meaningless game that I feel like I could bait you in on the angle a lot better spread.
Ooh.
Let's move to it because it doesn't sound like I've been very convincing here.
At first I was, but then I really thought about that draft stuff, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't.
That's my worry. But it's the thing is does he pull the I'm leaving anyway, I'm going to force the team to win, or does he go, I'm picking my next quarterback and I want this guy and I need to be here in the draft?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm not fighting to get into that man's mind. I don't think anyone's got in there.
I just don't believe there's that much difference between 3 and 6.
But again, it could be 2. It could be 2. You're again. I don't like the Falcons, but it could be 2. No Washington fans are. I'm the only Washington fan that's like admitting that we could be 3. Everybody's already locking us at 2, but we could be at 3. So.
No. All right, give me the next one.
Maybe
Tyler.
it's because I want Michael Penix instead of I don't know. I need to watch more.
Play again.
The Denver Broncos and Jared Stidham. Yeah.
This is the last hurrah for you guys to show that you guys want that coach.
Yeah.
The defense is going to show up. They're going to play hard. We take the Raiders right here, spread.
That's the
Here's my concern. When we talked about this earlier, we should have done it. It was at -2. Now it's out to -3 on a total of 38, which is my main concern there. We won the last game against the Broncos 17-16.
I mean, that is a meaningless angle that I like, Tyler. You made a good point.
I don't know how much of that Denver Chargers game you watched, spread, but the Stidham we saw last year is not the guy we seen this year.
It's cool, but he was without anybody.
Stidham we saw last year was one freaking game.
Wasn't it?
He did good against the Niners, and everyone said, "Oh, whoop-de-doo," and then the very next week he laid an egg.
He did it twice.
I thought he did it twice.
300 back-to-back weeks.
And one other note for the Denver Broncos, I will say he was playing with no receivers last week. Still threw for over 200, I think 224 because he just missed a 225 prop. Cortland Sutton and Mims are back to practice, so I don't know if they're going to play him. But if he actually has receivers this week, that's another just another consideration that Stidham could look better with actual better receiver, not little Jordan Humphrey and Jerry Jeudy, who's a jag, as what's his face, Steve Smith said.
And he's right.
He's right. He
I'm
wasn't
not in
wrong.
on Jeudy at all.
He wasn't wrong. Yeah.
I wish I could have that much confidence. Jeudy
Yeah,
reminds me of like the fat, ugly dude that just up to the hottest girl in the bar, and you're just like, bro, I wish I had your confidence. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's just something.
My main concern there is the -3, Tyler. I feel like we missed the boat on that one.
Can I ask what
I
you
think
guys?
we'll be all right, but I understand your worry.
Where are you guys on the Saints Falcons? Again, most likely it's not for anything. Saints would need a ton of help. Falcons would need even more help, but it would have to win and even need more help than the Saints, need the Bucks to lose. But where are you on? Do you like
Don't the Falcons always beat the Saints? Let me look that up right now. I swear, like the Saints always beat the Bucks.
And certain division teams, like you said, just have these
and
weird.
The Falcons always beat the Saints.
We got Clyde in chat. He says tease the Raiders with the Bengals. I know Tyler's talking
through zero. We're not teasing through zero.
Okay, so sorry, Clyde. Yeah, it's through -3.5 Saints. So at home in New Orleans. Again, if they look up and Bucks are killing, I forget what else they need to potentially get a wild card. If Bucks crush the Panthers and get the NFC South, I forget what else the Saints need. I want to say it might be something in the 4 o'clock window. So I still think.
Okay, so now I was wrong about that.
Oh, okay. And what Seahawks play at 4, don't they? So yes. They need to win and just wait and watch, basically.
Yeah.
I think they need both the Seahawks and Packers to lose, right? Which both play at 4. I think that's what it was. So if Bucks win, get the NFC South. Both. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but they play at 4. So if Bucks win, get the NFC South. They're still playing to win because they would need 2 teams to lose. But whatever. If they could then sit and watch and whatever. So I don't know. I kind of like the Saints. I think the Falcons are unraveling. I think they're going back to Ritter. Heineke got banged up. I don't know. I think that coach is getting canned.
These are 2 teams I can't cap at all. Yeah. I was listening to you, Tyler. I get these teams wrong all the freaking time.
If I had to bet this game, I'd take the Saints.
But when I look at the Falcons, that's like a 3-win team to me. I can't believe they won so many games.
Oh, I know.
I don't know how they've done it for like 3 years in a row where it's like I think it's going to be a bottom 3 team and they win like 6-7 games.
Yeah.
They're like the Steelers light. We'll call them that spread. They can't get to the winning seasons, but they fight and they shouldn't.
They win games.
And it's just weird. Some days they can't block, and then other times they look like your old Washington Hogs line from the '80s, where Tyler Algier gets 7 yards before he has any contact.
Take a 75-yard screen pass down the sideline.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't want to get involved in this one. If Tyler loved it, I'll join him, but.
I would rather stay away, but
I think the spread's right. -3.
I would rather bet this
game. The total's 41.5. So that's a little nicer.
I would rather bet this through like an Olave touchdown and they win, something like that.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I like that. I like that too. All right, you want to get to the big one spread?
Yeah, I think we've gone through every other game that I was considering. Sunday Night Football, Meg. The Buffalo Bills. Everybody expects them to win.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that
everybody's just penciling them in. 2 weeks ago, we all thought Miami was going to win the AFC. Is this recency bias? Or is this because of the injuries? I know Jalen Waddle's out. I know they're missing a bunch of people. They might be missing some running backs. I'm really surprised, though. They're catching 3 at home in a divisional game. Right now, I'm leaning towards Miami, but I haven't placed a bet. What do you think, Meg?
I personally am leaning towards Miami, too. I've been more on Miami all season, so take that into consideration. There's a lot of stats on Josh Allen and the way the offense is running that make me just a little wary and nervous as people talk about win and they're in and they could be their 3rd favorite for the Super Bowl or else lose and they might not even make the playoffs. But since the new coordinator change, they've been very run heavy, low volume passing offense. But Josh Allen statistically has been running for touchdowns. He's been in Jalen Hurts just running for 2 touchdowns a game. However, have you seen his passing statistics? The week 1 through 10, I believe his completion percentage was 70%, 56% the last 5 games or whatever with the new offensive coordinator. I think that's a bit concerning. If the Dolphins have,
here's my counter to that.
Sure.
Joe Brady's putting them in good spots.
Right.
So 2nd and 2, I can take shots.
Okay.
That's going to lower my completion percentage. Whereas before, I feel like they were running more of the West Coast,
right,
where he was trying to get the 3 and 4 yard gains on first down with shorter passes.
Okay.
So I believe that some of that is because Joe Brady's offense is more of that the Raiders offense that I love. The old, you're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
You're going to establish the run, and then you're just take shots down the
and
field.
take shots and open it up.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
The best Al Davis quotes, right? Where he says, we're not going to take what the defense gives us. We're going to take whatever we want.
Okay.
A little outdated, but it fired you up.
Right.
That would be my counter there. Here's my concern and why I haven't played it. Maybe this line is right. Look at that Buffalo injury report. They're finally clean. Remember how we all talked about who's the middle linebacker, Milano? Is his name Matt Milano?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, he's out. They're so much worse without him. He's back. The rest of the guys are back. This is the healthiest the team's been all year, and Miami is banged up. Still, I'm catching 3 at home.
I think you talk about coaching advantages. I think the coaching advantage is massive for Miami.
Really? I don't know if I do.
I do. I'm a Mike McDaniel, truther. I just am, at least for his offensive schemes. I just love that Shanahan, Mike McDaniel offense is so creative with motion and that kind of stuff. They're coming off the loss. I think it's a lot. I think it's part recency bias, part injury is why the line is what it is. But I like Miami to get the win at home. But Raheem Mostert news, looks like he wasn't at practice again today.
I don't think he's fine.
That one makes me really nervous. That one.
Really? I think he's replaceable.
I mean, just having him in a chain as the 1-2 punch.
All their news is coming across underdog now. Mostert didn't practice. Waddle didn't practice.
Yeah, Waddle's not going to play either.
Yeah, I don't think Waddle's playing.
You want to know how beat up this team is?
Let's hear it.
When you go read their injury report right now, they have Bradley Chubb listed as didn't practice on Wednesday with a knee injury.
He's out for the year, isn't he?
Yeah.
Let's rewind to Sunday when he was screaming like he just got shot because his ACL popped.
Yeah,
he's not playing.
Yeah, I don't understand.
What has changed? If you just looking at the Baltimore matchup, same spread. I get it. It was in Baltimore, but what's the difference here? They're playing
way better.
Yeah,
they're a better team, but there's a lot more injuries on the Miami side now. Both pass rushers on both sides, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, are gone. Xavier Howard's not playing in this game. Their defense is a shell of what it was 4 weeks ago. They caught 2 nice matchups in the last 4 weeks. Oh, they beat the Jets. Kudos to you. You want a cookie for that one? And you snuck out a win against the Dallas, and Dallas can't play on the road. I think this is Buffalo. I got to trust Joe Brady. He's going to put Josh Allen in the right spots. If they're playing a beat-up defense, I could see Diggs finally breaking out in this spot.
What's going on with that, too? I think
that's partially the new offense they're running. Because all their receivers just died. Except for Gabe Davis here and there will catch like a 70-yard touchdown.
Because he's running less routes. I was listening to a podcast yesterday about
those guys almost block more, it seems like, and they're running the ball a lot more. It's just keeping Josh Allen from making mistakes. I think that's what it is. Their defense being healthy now, big. That
is big, and Miami's injuries are big.
They've dominated this matchup. They're 9-1 in the last 10 matchups against Miami. We talk about teams just dominating these divisional games. This is one of them. The one game Miami has was a few years ago. Actually, I believe this was last year.
It was last year, early in the season when it was hot. Yeah.
September 25th.
Yeah.
Miami,
when it's fucking 100 degrees, they put Buffalo in the sun, and Miami had to come back to win a 21-19 game. Every other game, you got a 32-29, you got a 34-31, and you got a 48-20 since then.
So on 2 of those, they pushed though.
I'm willing to take my chance there, especially because they weren't halfway as banged up as they were now. And Tua's already hurt, and they're going to put pressure on him. Could see him getting bounced out of this game. It's Buffalo or pass. I don't think I can pull the trigger on Miami. This is similar to Monday night's college football playoff game with Michigan and Alabama. If I'm going to bet this game, I feel better going down with the ship on Buffalo that they couldn't beat a injury-riddled team than betting the injury-riddled team trying to be the smart side and watching them get the doors blown off them.
Yeah, I mean, I hear everything you're saying. So you guys are you locked in with Tyler's spread?
No.
So
I think it's Miami or pass.
I couldn't bet a free bet on Miami. That's I wouldn't touch it. Yeah.
So I send you $100 right now. You won't put it on Miami?
No.
I would.
Unbelievable.
I'd fire it on the Miami money line and say they're winning the East.
Like on Monday, just because I made that comparison to the Monday night Alabama-Michigan game, like I was fully content with betting Alabama and going down with Saban. If I'd have bet Michigan and they would have got blown out, I'd have been like, I'm an idiot. Why would I ever bet against them? That's how I feel if I'd bet against Buffalo right here and Buffalo goes out and they're up 21-0 quick. It's like, what the hell would I bet against the fully healthy team with the injury-riddled G League team right now?
You don't think
before the injury, the G League team was the best team.
This isn't superstar subtraction when 9 out of 12 superstars are out.
I mean, Tua is going to be fine. He was he was a full practice. He's going to be fine. It's just the Astaire and Waddle and offensive lineman banged up and is scary on the offense. And then the defense.
I get it. He's going to play, but like if he's getting hit every other play, bounced on the ground, that shoulder's hitting the ground, that injury is going to slowly start to flare back up. Throwing shoulder, that can cause some interceptions to where his accuracy goes away.
I know these play designs are great, but McDaniels, he runs the ball. I don't think he's going to be afraid, and I don't think the drop off to Jeff Wilson Jr. from Astaire is that big a deal.
That's true.
I mean, let's look at best ball at the beginning of the year. Weren't they around the same?
Yeah, I mean,
both about the 170s.
Yeah. Well, Astaire was higher, but
well, it's because they both had the same label. They were both.
It's not like we're going from Christian McCaffrey to Elijah Mitchell here.
But they were both old vet running backs that had injury history.
Right.
One of them,
and now one of them injured, and the other one's going to step in, and
one of them hit IR before the season even started. The other one didn't get hurt until week 17.
Yeah.
That's why one was able to produce, and the other one did what the other two have done for the last 6 years: is played 6 snaps and got hurt.
All right. I mean, well, we're not going to agree on this one.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to agree on this one. I mean, Tyler makes good points, and the injury stuff does scare the hell out of me, but I don't think we're going to agree on this.
Yeah, and that's why I couldn't get there, right? Maybe I am undervaluing how hurt this team is.
Mm-hmm. Same.
We still Tyreek Hill is such a game changer.
Exactly.
I mean, he's just the one guy you can't really scheme for. And if they're able to get a lead early, I think it's going to be hard for Buffalo to cover.
Yeah, I just think.
I mean, once again, we're not talking about the minus 148 money line. We're talking about +3 here.
Right.
In a division game, Miami's at home.
I just think the X factor of Tyreek Hill and the Mike McDaniel scheme, even without some weapons, is something that you can't.
And I think Fangio is the type of guy that's going to be able to scheme through some of those losses.
Mm-hmm. But again,
that's inappropriate.
Oh my God. So did we come on any consensus today on any bets?
Chicago, that was it.
No. Are we doing Chicago?
I think that's the only one we agreed on.
I'm on Packers, but I get where you guys are coming from.
Yeah, this is why week 18, Meg.
Well, so do we do a best bet segment? Do you say what your favorite bet is? Why don't we do that? Why don't you still give your best bet of a spread that you are going to bet spread, even if it's not consensus with Tyler I?
Give me the New England Patriots -2.
Oh, he's going there.
They beat just 15 times in a row.
All right. He's
going if this is 15-1, I'll lose the bet.
All right. Tyler, is the Bills -3 yours?
Nope. We're going Texans money line.
Okay, Texans money line. Okay, that was another big, one that we couldn't quite agree on, but I like it. We're 54 minutes in. We've been debating these, talking about all the Week 18 implications, talking about how hard Week 18 is to handicap. So we can go through everything else rather quickly. Any totals you like here? Whether you guys have done well with team totals or is there a total you like in general? I'll go to you first. Any totals that are catching?
I'll just go over them all, and then Tyler can just tell me whether or not he likes it.
Okay.
I got a slight lean to the over in the Ravens Steelers, but I don't love it. What do you think, Tyler?
Nah, I don't want to do that.
I'm at 47 on a 47.5 on the Texans Colts. I don't feel like playing it.
Nah, I'd rather just take Texans.
I got an under on the Cowboys Commanders, but I don't like it.
Maybe a Cowboys first half team total.
I was gonna say Cowboys team total, but it makes sense.
Just the first half though, Meg.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I got 49ers right on the number.
Nothing.
I have the Bills at 49.8 on a 49.5. I have a slight over on the Saints and Falcons.
I couldn't do it with Desmond Ritter playing quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm right on the number for Eagles Giants. I am 1 point over on Bengals Browns, but
that's one I think we can go under on.
Really? Why?
Doesn't that rub you as the Brown? Like these teams that are punched in, they can only sit so many guys. Like they can't just go out and be like, all right, the entire starting lineup on both sides is out of the game. What is it, like 7 or 8 inactives is the max? So they're going to have to play some of these guys, but then they're going to yank them off the field. They're going to try and get in and get out of this game injury-free. You're telling me this game doesn't scream just run the ball, hold the play clock for 30 seconds, snap the ball. We're just going to drag drives out. Every drive's going to be 5 to 8 minutes long. This game's going to be over in 2.5 hours. Like we're going to rip this game off the board as fast as possible. Cincinnati's probably starting Driscoll also. Do we really think Driscoll's going to be able to do anything on that offensive side? Like I think this is a nice under spot if we're going to bet a total.
Okay. Yeah. Can't really argue there. I just didn't like it. It just feels like
I don't know how bad that because Cincinnati and Cleveland, they're not far from Pittsburgh. They're literally like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
We are getting hammered with a snowstorm coming into the weekend. Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Oh, are you? Let me pull up the weather.
They might be getting that too. So
okay.
I mean, we're even down here in the Mid-Atlantic. We're supposed to get some snow, which gross. I am such an anti-winter, anti-snow. I hate snow and winter. I'm like the biggest Scrooge when it comes to winter and snow. So you want to trigger me, talk about snow.
I can deal with the snow, Meg. It's when the wind is on top of the cold and the snow.
I just hate winter.
It's just ripping through you. It's like, sucks.
Yeah. I love fall. I absolutely adore fall for football season, for the fall weather, for the pretty leaves, all of it. Pumpkin coffee, you name it. If I could have fall 8 months a year, I'd be so pumped and happy. But Mid-Atlantic, I get like 6 good weeks of fall and then have to suffer through the other seasons that drive me nuts. So, but I am a winter Scrooge. Okay, yeah. Let me give a quick weather report in Baltimore. Likely cold, wet, rain, windy. What kind of wet, rain or snow? This is off Roto Grinders. Kevin Roth weather report. He's always my go-to. Cleveland, Cincinnati, showers, winds 10 miles sustained, 20 miles gust. New England, cold, windy, snowy in New England, 30 to 35 miles an hour, 15 to 20 sustained. So that one's pretty yucky there, but we weren't looking at a total there, I don't believe. But if you did like the under there, what is the total there actually?
37.5 on Cleveland and Cincinnati.
No, what about New England?
I think it's like 30.
Okay. I was going to say
30.5.
I mean,
it's too low.
Yeah, it's tempting though, because holy cow, it looks like it's snowy and major wind issues. And then Giants in New York, in Miami, in New York. Yeah. Rain and snow showers possible. Winds are calming down for the game. And then Miami, chance for scattered showers. So Yeah, there's some. It looks like New England's the worst of it though. So, did Clyde say he's going to the Chiefs game? Is that going to happen? Do we know? Okay. So any other totals or just kind of not really liking anything there?
Yeah.
Projections aren't showing
None of my
anything
edges are really standing out. There are games I don't like. The Jets Patriots, I had it at 34, but I probably didn't account for the weather. On Chiefs Chargers, I have it going over, but I probably didn't properly account for people missing in that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And Raiders Broncos, I have going over, and I feel like I properly accounted there.
Okay.
But their last game was 17-16, so I don't like that either.
Yeah. I really like just to go against the theme of trying to make money against my pain versus off my pain. I really like Tyler's call of the Dallas first half team total. Love that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys want to make that official, but that's the one that I loved the most.
That's the only one I'm really considering. I don't have that right now, I don't think. Let me look.
It's 14.5 on DK, or not DK.
Oh, Jesus God. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a team total yet for that game on Bookmaker. I probably do on Bet Online. I'll check that right now.
I mean, I just think and you know what's weird is we ended week 18. That was Sam Howell's first game, week 18, Dallas in Washington. Dallas had something to play for. It wasn't, I don't think, to wrap up the NFC East. It was some kind of seeding that they were playing for. Because I remember like there was a big, watching scoreboard situation, and Washington just beat the hell out of them. It was insane. Sam Howell, kind of locked up his position to have a chance at the starting role this year, and he looked good. And we got a major upset in Washington. Don't see that happening this year. Different teams, different year, but we'll say it's just weird that it's kind of deja vu. I mean, obviously you're always playing a division opponent week 18, but again, it's week 18 at home with implications. But yeah, different implications. I can't remember what they were scoreboard watching or doing last year. I think they needed the Eagles to lose and then win for something, whereas this year it's reverse. They control their destiny. So anyways, I think they're going to pour it on heavily in the first half. All right. So that covers, so we covered spreads, we covered totals. Everything that's official will be up on fanspeak.com on the NFL betting card. Be sure to check that out. Let's talk a little props. Again, you do want to pay attention to what the incentives are again, but know that that is baked in. With that said, I see a couple I like. Tyler, what props are standing out to you right now?
Yeah, I probably go right back to that same game I gave my best bet in.
Okay.
And I go right Dalton Schultz, 44.5.
I thought you were going to do that. I like that.
His receptions, where's that line? 4.5, even money. Give me that. And then just his alt receptions up to 7, because that would cash those incentives for him. Yep. Also, by those anytime touchdown at plus 260. So it's a Dalton Schultz week against a bad tight end defense. So that's going to be the spot. Dalton Schultz week.
So, okay, it was over 4.5 receptions and 44.5 is his line.
Yep.
I like that. I'm going to go to his teammate. You can run all over the Colts. And the rushing prop for, because I thought you were going to do Schultz, Singletary's line is 63.5. He's getting fed the ball, and he could get that in much less volume, because against the Colts, that's how you attack the Colts. You run all over them. So I like the over 63.5. And I'll give a second one, and alluded to what I just said about betting against my team and trying to make money off my pain, and agreeing with your first half over. I think they're still going to play Dak into the second half, but he may not need 4 quarters to do this, but I think he's easily going to do over, I lost it, 280.5. He's been pretty much a solid over 300 bet for basically since their week 7 bye, and against Washington on Thanksgiving, I think it was over 350. So again, may not need all 4 quarters, but I still think he can easily go over 280 in this one. So that's mine and the Singletary over, but we'll have them all up for Saturday, for Sunday on fanspeak.com on the NFL betting card. TDs, this is the fun one. Anytime touchdowns, let's have some fun. You already gave one in Dalton Schultz. Give me another one, Tyler, just for fun.
Anytime touchdown?
Yeah.
Here, let me get to the list real quick. Let's see.
And it could be Saturday or Sunday, obviously.
There's a fun one, Meg.
Well, that was Saturday. Sorry. Schultz is Saturday. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What else you got?
You're going to hear this name and be like, who? Charlie Kolar.
I love it. No, I'm not saying who. I love that call. I love Kolar. What's the odds?
8-1.
Oh my God. That's a good one. I'm locking that in now. I love that. Yeah, it's, likely he's going to be out. He's like a preseason stud. It's just, he's buried behind, Andrews and likely, and now just likely, but yeah, I think he got a touchdown last week in garbage time.
That's the pick.
Yep. Love it. Spread, give me your favorite anytime touchdown for the week.
Meg, I'm stealing yours. My guess is you've already placed this. It's going to be most likely our last time being able to place this. Well, maybe not. Actually, no. We'll have one more opportunity, potentially. Give me Mike Evans. We're targeting one of the worst teams in the league there.
Love it.
And, they're laying 4.5. I was skeptical of laying 4.5. As we said, it's lay it or don't play it in that one. And regardless of whether or not they cover, Mike Evans is the red zone target on that team. He's a wide receiver in between the 20s, and then he turns into a tight end in the red zone with that huge catch radius and his ability to catch contested balls. So that's been working for Baker all year. Why would he go against it when he needs it most? So
I like that you speak to me, Fred.
I was like, should I steal Meg's?
It's always my favorite anytime touchdown bet. I love it. Well, I don't see a line for this.
Now you got to go to Laporta or St. Brown. Or
well, Lions don't have, they're kind of locked. I mean, I always forget the Lions coach's name, and I love him.
Dan Campbell.
I love Dan Campbell, and I always forget his name. Oh, Clyde likes another Raven. We said Charlie Kolar. He likes Melvin Gordon. So shouting it out. I
thought he was joking around.
No, he's probably going to be the starting running back. I mean,
no way.
Yeah, he'll probably get most of the running back work on Saturday. But I think it's interesting. I don't know what his number is. I don't see a number 4 yet, but give me Lamb touchdown and win. That's been another one of my favorites to do, and has been a pretty solid one all season. He's obviously Dak's main target. I think Dak could throw 3 or 4 in this game, just like he did on Thanksgiving against this Washington defense. So give me Lamb and win. Try again, sticking with the theme, making money off my pain. All right. We don't have a Thursday night, sadly, game to talk about. Again, we got 2 games Saturday, and all the rest of the games are Sunday to figure out what playoffs we'll be talking about next week. So give me some final thoughts, guys, to get out of here. Spread, what are your final thoughts for week 18?
I actually like no Thursday and no Monday.
No, Spread, no.
It's so sweet, especially in your contest.
You cover the basketball. That has had to, as like you said, since basketball has started, that's had to have been very hard with football, whatever 3 to 4 days a week, and then you're covering, NBA too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a little easy because you can disregard a lot of Thursday night.
Yeah,
you can bet it, but I don't necessarily think it's instructive like the Sunday games are.
Right.
Final thoughts. I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning. Number 1, discretion is definitely the better part of valor. We don't need to fight 5 guys in an alley when we only need to fight 1 next week. And I feel like this is a week where the odds are stacked against us. There's so many moving parts that are tough. Now, when you're following your local team, you might have a better idea. But when you're trying to handicap this nationally like we are, I think it's safe to say, it's fair to say, I don't know. A lot of these times, and I feel like that's where I am. And finally, I said at the beginning, and it's not mine, I'm lifting it from other people. I'm sure the guy who said it first was it like 1972. But if a team must win, they must not be that good. So don't just go bet all the teams and parlay all the teams that need to win, because the rest of these guys are professionals. These guys are trying to put good things on tape, especially for these losing teams, for potential new jobs, for the new coaching staff, or maybe they know their coach is coming back and they don't want to be the guy that gave up 7 missed tackles or get burned left and right going into next season. So don't just assume that the teams that need to win need to win, because history's shown us that doesn't come true.
All right. I think that was good advice and instruction. Tyler, what are your final thoughts for week 18?
Yeah, I don't have as much of a motivational speech as Fred did, but make sure to keep up on those incentives.
Yep.
Build a nice lotto ticket.
Hasn't that been nuked at this point?
You could still make some nice lottery ticket parlays with those.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy with them now, but you may be able to hit a nice ticket in week 18. Don't just throw the week away thinking it's meaningless football. There's still money to be made.
Absolutely. Yeah, these guys are still making money literally by the incentives that Tyler's talking about. So we can too, just maybe some different angles. So I'll just say that, maybe have fun with it in some, maybe with some props or some prop, and win combos or something like that. And check out the betting card that'll be updated for Saturday and Sunday on fanspeak.com. And of course, check out their treasure map to check out their full projections. But everything will be updated for both slates, we promise. And we'll be continuing this all the way through the playoffs and Super Bowls. So for Spread, for Tyler, I'm Meg. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next Thursday.